before we let you go, I do want to get your thoughts because you are our first guest since the details of the in-season tournament have come out. As far as I know, there will be 6 groups of 5 teams.
Mm-hmm.
The teams will be drawn at random, but based upon record from the previous year. You're going to play within your conference. The 6 group winners will go to the knockout stage. There'll be 2 wild card teams who have the next best records, and there's semifinals and finals in Vegas. I was in New Orleans when this was first brought up, my first year in New Orleans, and I was opposed to it, but in fairness, I was also opposed to the play-in tournament. The play-in tournament I think has been fantastic. Do you have any thoughts on the play-in tournament and sort of what it will mean, what it will not mean to players, and the importance of it?
Yeah, I mean, real quick on the play-in, I would say I had the same feelings as you. Like, I was against the play-in at first, and I think it has been good for the game. I think it's made it at least a little more competitive. In terms of the in-season tournament, it does not make the most sense to me, candidly speaking. Being the quote-unquote best league in the world in terms of basketball, it didn't make sense to me to copy what other leagues were doing. But what do I know? I'm just a player. But as far as the bonuses too, like I know they tried to make sense for guys to want to play and compete, which is great. And I think the bonuses will be awesome, especially if my team wins it. I'm looking forward to that. But having made a few deep runs, it didn't make sense to me how the bonus would be more than if you were in the finals then. And for me, like, that takes away from the point of it all, right? We all play to raise the Larry O'Brien Trophy and to go down that parade and to win and be called world champion, and to kind of have an incentive that's greater in January for, I don't really know what the mid-season tournament means. Does it give you a better seeding in the playoffs? Like, is there any perk other than a little payday?
You get the cool trophy that they unveiled.
Yeah, but if you win, you play 1 extra game.
That's true.
So you want to win. Are we going to see teams try to lose? Like, it's interesting to see what will happen, especially you get to the playoffs. It's typically the healthiest team that has the best chance down the stretch.
We've got the numbers right here. So if you win the championship, you get an extra $500K. If you get to the finals of the in-season, you get $200K. If you get to the semifinals, you get $100K. And if you get to the quarterfinals, if you're one of the 8 teams that qualifies for the in-season tournament knockout stage, you get $50K. To your point about your playoffs, so that everybody knows, when you make the playoffs, every team gets a playoff share that gets divided up amongst players and staff. And a lot of times, like, I did this my last probably 6 or 7 years, the older players will generally, if you don't make a deep playoff run, they'll just give up their playoff shares so that the people on staff don't have a share. They split it up evenly and they all get a little bonus at the end of the year.
Right.
What was your share this year for making the finals? NBA finals. A 2-month process where you played the most competitive, heated, pressure-filled basketball of your life. What was your playoff share?
I ended up with 200. So
200.
I was a little confused in hearing the 500 for the mid.
So if you lose the NBA finals, you end up with 200. But if you lose in the in-season tournament after playing, I think that's rounds out to about 6 or 7 games.
Right.
You get 200. It's interesting, man.
I'd rather get a ring personally.
Sure.
I'd rather win the mid-season tournament and get a ring. But if I had to choose one, I know which one I would pick.
JJ, do you think there's going to be discourse about guys choking in the mid-season tournament?
Right. How does this add to guys' legacy?
Not winning.
Listen, I think he's the top 20 player ever. He's got 2 MVPs in the regular season. He's got a finals MVP. He's got 2 championships, and he's got 3 in-season tournament championships. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Who cares? You know what? I'm going to withhold judgment for at least.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I'll give it 2 years before I really buy in or really rail on this thing. I'm prepared. I'm prepared, Gabe. Just so you know, I'm prepared to rant on this podcast if the in-season tournament sucks.
Awesome. So, I mean, as of now, that's kind of where I stand, but I could be wrong. I could just have a biased opinion, but the game changes and evolves constantly. So we'll see what happens next.